Hello everyone and welcome to Overwatch This, our weekly look at Blizzard's big FPS. I'm Matt, joined by Ben. And this week is a big week for Overwatch because finally, after months and months of waiting, the Overwatch League starts today, right today.
This very day, the preseason begins. I feel like I've been talking about Overwatch League for over a year, and that's because we have. Yep. It was announced last year at BlizzCon, of course, and then it finally actually came into some sort of fruition over the course of the last couple of months. And then preseason begins today. These matches don't matter in the long run, but they are the first look we'll see at kind of, you know, what the setup's like, what the streams are like, how the commentary works, that sort of thing. Exactly, you know, what kind of super cool graphics they've got. And they'll want it, you know, they'll want it to be a blowout. They'll want it to be super impressive. And yeah, it begins today. It starts this evening for in the US. It starts very early tomorrow morning. Starts at midnight in the UK. And then, you know, around the world, work it out from there. And then tomorrow there's more games, and there's actually one at a slightly more UK-friendly time, which is, of course, the London Spitfire game. And then there's going to be more games all the way through to... Where are we now? It's Wednesday today, isn't it?
Sure.
And then, yeah, all the way through to Saturday, they're going to be doing more games. Kind of based on the results of the first ones, and, you know, who will play who and that sort of thing. And just about everything that could have gone wrong
already has started to go wrong, right?
Already has. So Philadelphia Fusion, which is one of the Overwatch League teams. Incidentally, if you want to know anything more about the Overwatch League, pre-season, inaugural season, plans, stuff they've done, and anything about any of the teams, we have pages, individual team pages, and a big kind of blowout post for all the Overwatch League
stuff. Yeah, if you go to PCGamesN.com/Overwatch, that is the hub page where you can get all of that sort of stuff from.
It'll all be in there, and it's all worth a look. Yeah, so Philadelphia Fusion were meant to play in the very first game of Overwatch League against Florida Mayhem, I believe, and then they had to pull out. They've had to pull out the entire pre-season due to what they're calling player logistics issues. Now,
what does that translate to?
The translation for this is, we don't, you know, they haven't been specific, but they had one player that was banned for the first 30 matches of the Overwatch League plus the preseason. So that's the first 3 stages of Overwatch League, as well as the games that are going to be happening this week. Yep, that's not too smart. He was caught account boosting, which is something that's against the league's rules. I would bet that in future account boosting, if it happens again, won't be punished quite as harshly, but they want to make an example of somebody, and this guy probably just, you know, shouldn't have broken the rules. And then the other problem for Philadelphia Fusion is they have a very international roster from a large number of different teams. And I'm guessing, and this is pure speculation, they haven't actually announced, but I would assume there's been some kind of visa issue that kind of only came up because this guy was banned and therefore he couldn't play, so they need to find another guy at short notice, and, you know, problems like that that happen. So every other team is going to be in action today or tomorrow, and then again on Friday or Saturday. The San Francisco Shock are now playing 2 games today. They're playing the first 2 games of the league. And then, yeah, there's, you know, it's the first big showing for the league. Everyone will want to show off. We'll get to see kind of team uniforms for the first time. People be using all the in-game uniforms as well. And interestingly, and kind of the other big part of this that's proving a little bit weird is Blizzard haven't said where you can watch it.
Yeah, which is odd, right? Because we've had sort of like speculation. We've got our ideas on how we think we'll be able to watch. You know, we had that talk before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know,
but to be on the day, right?
And not know what platform it's going to be on. So they've said, you know, just go to go to overwatchleague.com and it will be there, and no doubt it will be. So you know that you can go to that website, but we don't know if it's going to be through Twitch. We don't know if it's going to be through an MLG player. We don't know if it'll also be rebroadcast on YouTube. Facebook is another thing that they've done a lot of stuff with. Even
a bespoke player,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, the broadcast software there isn't, you know, superb. So we don't actually know. Now, for the World Cup, they said that, yep, you'll be able to watch it on the World Cup site, and they didn't say what platform it'll be on, and then obviously it was on Twitch, because that makes sense. Obviously, they'll want it to be on Twitch anyway. Blizzard and Twitch have a kind of exclusivity deal that they signed back in June, I think it was. That didn't specifically mention the Overwatch League, but it did mention all of their games, including Overwatch, as stuff that you could watch on Twitch. And that was just kind of Twitch shoring up one of their bigger partners, because while, you know, they don't have a game that's quite as big as Dota 2 or League of Legends or CSGO, all of the games below those are Blizzard's games. Like, you know, that is how it works. So yeah, there is a lot to speculate there, and it's very odd that they wouldn't say, yes, we're going to be broadcasting on Twitch. And it is worrying, and there has been kind of contradictory reports. So there's the stuff from the World Cup that says it would suggest that we are going to get it on Twitch anyway. It'll just also be on the Overwatch League site. But then one of the Reddit moderators contacted a community manager, and the community manager said, yep, it's only going to be on overwatchleague.com. Didn't specifically say it's not going to be on Twitch, and it's possible that's just the messaging that's been approved, and, you know, stupid kind of corporate bollocks type things is why they can't say yes, it's going to be on Twitch. But it isn't conclusive either way. And on the day of the actual event happening, you know, you're watching this and it is the morning of US time. People are excited to watch these games tonight. Overwatch fans want to see it. People want to know exactly how they're going to spread this. Not knowing that, and the possibility that it won't be on Twitch, which I think would be a big mistake for discoverability reasons, particularly these initial games. I can imagine them worrying about the fact that eventually they want to, you know, sell rights and they want it to be a regional broadcast and they want to do it like the NBA and the NFL and the NHL do it, means that they're worried about putting it on Twitch. But I think for now, particularly this preseason where you can kind of go, okay, this is a separate thing, this isn't, you know, a season of Overwatch League, it's just an exhibition, it's a showcase. Not having it on Twitch would be a huge mistake. So I would expect that it will be on Twitch. I don't think Blizzard is stupid. But it is worrying that they don't have their messaging down yet, even for how they're going to do this.
Sure, and of course, if you're watching this literally hours after we put this out, you probably already know the answer to this.
Hopefully,
and maybe all your fears, Ben.
Hopefully all the fears are assuaged. Yeah, but I mean, you know, that doesn't stop the problem that we don't know now, 12 hours before it's meant to start, which is silly.
Okay then, Ben, talk me through the opening games of this pre-season. Who are we expecting to see? Are there any rivalries that we need to get sort of like the lowdown on?
Yeah, so I mean, rivalries kind of is the name of the game, actually. Now, obviously, this is a slightly revised schedule because of the pull out of the Philadelphia Fusion. So we'll start with Florida Mayhem versus San Francisco Shock, and then directly after that will be Los Angeles Valiant versus San Francisco Shock. These games should be fairly interesting. These are kind of Western teams. They've got Western players mostly. They are, you know, what you would describe as probable underdogs, and it'll be interesting to see how they perform, particularly Los Angeles teams, because like the Los Angeles teams are going to be a bit special because they are Blizzard's home state. There are two different Los Angeles teams. They would hope to be the better performing US-based teams, I expect, and you know, people will want to see them do really, really well. We then have Seoul Dynasty versus Shanghai Dragons. That's the last game of today. Seeing exactly how good Seoul Dynasty are is going to be really interesting. Like, are they going to be the best team in the league or the second best team in the league? It's basically the question. But it'll be also interesting to see how the relatively unknown Shanghai Dragons do, being, you know, they're from China. We don't see the Chinese players play that often. A lot of the Chinese leagues are China-only teams, and so we don't know, you know, how these guys stack up quite as much against international competition. Some of these guys were at the World Cup, but that's a little bit different. It's not the same stakes. And seeing exactly, you know, are the Shanghai Dragons like in Dota? Is China going to be like a, you know, a powerhouse? Or is it just going to be kind of another team and the Chinese players are fine, but they're not on the same level as the Koreans or some of the Europeans? After that, we've got the Los Angeles Gladiators versus the London Spitfire. Now, the London Spitfire are probably the best team in the league. Despite the name, they're a huge batch of Koreans. And again, it'll be interesting to see how the Los Angeles Gladiators do as another LA team. From what I remember, it seems like the Gladiators are probably a little bit weaker than Valiant. So, I mean, this should be a total Spitfire stomp. If things are going the way we think they are. So, I mean, that is an important game in terms of, you know, are the Koreans going to be super dominant, or will these other teams who have now had a bit of time to prepare and actually learn and actually, you know, discuss themselves as a team and come together, is that going to be strong enough to stand up against the raw talent and the raw ability of people that come out of that kind of Korean ecosystem? Then we've got the Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws as the second last game tomorrow. Fuel are a very popular team in terms of the people they've got on the team who are Westerners that are very popular streamers like Seagull, for example, whereas Houston Outlaws have the best team skins, as we've discussed in the past, and also it is it's a Texas derby, which is you know, that's a cool thing.
Exciting.
And there will be a lot of, you know, rivalry there. There'll be people coming from, you know, NBA particularly, being like, all right, cool, you know, I want to see these teams go at it. And then finally tomorrow we have the New York Excelsior versus the Boston Uprising. Excelsior, like Spitfire, is a batch of Koreans, and also New York versus Boston is another kind of huge traditional rivalry from the world of normal sports. As you can tell from what I've just said, you know, all of these matches were pretty much set up to be the big rivalries, the big kind of local rivalries that you'd expect to see, with a few exceptions, because, for example, there just isn't like a London team that can face that. But then they're also thinking about stuff like the way that time zones work, and so they want to have the China and the Korean game at the same time if they can, because then, you know, the fans that are actually in those countries can watch that game, and it is on their time. It's as late as possible into night as they can be. So we'll then get more games based on the winners and the losers, as far as we know. Now, that's going to be complicated by the Fusion situation. You know, previously I assume it was just going to be like winners versus losers. They would have just gone, okay, Saturday we'll have the winners from a bunch of different matches play each other, and then Sunday we'll have the losers play each other, or something like that. Friday and Saturday, that is. Now it'll be a bit different. Like, no doubt they'll have to find someone to play in place of where the Fusion team would have been. Whether that'll be San Francisco again, and San Francisco will just play 4 games while everyone plays 2, that would be a bit weird. So I'd expect them to double up maybe the Dallas Fuel as like I said, they're a very popular team, or maybe someone like the Spitfire, who people are expecting to do very well, to see how they do in terms of that. What it is going to be is, all this is a test. They're going to see what viewership is like. They're going to see what situations develop that need to be fixed before the inaugural season actually starts. Expect there to just be stuff kind of happening and them trying new things, and there'll be some stuff you really don't like. I no doubt there'll be segments that don't work or don't make sense. There'll be technical difficulties. Apparently everything went really, really well when they first used the Blizzard Arena, but that's different from this kind of international broadcast thing that's going to be on another level. So I'm really excited to see it, not only from a perspective of, finally seeing these teams clash, that's cool, but, we're going to get 9 months of that. But seeing what things are like for the first time, the packages, the branding they've decided to use, where the commentators are sat, like how all that works, whether there's like a big hype crowd and that sort of thing. That should be really, really cool to see. And yeah, I'm excited for it. It's a shame not more of the games are friendly to UK time. That's a problem they're just going to have for the rest of this first season. Depending on how things develop and when they manage to start doing the actual local games, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I am excited for this to kick off, and hopefully I'll get to watch some of the games at work tomorrow, because I'm certainly not watching them tonight. Not at midnight.
Right, that's everything from our primer for the pre-season of the Overwatch League. Hopefully you're as excited as me and Ben are. Certainly, we've got our teams. We know who we're backing.
Oh, who are you backing?
I'm definitely backing the Spitfires. Mate.
Oh, okay, all right.
Kind of a easy question, right?
If they start losing, I'll start supporting them. But if they're just winning all the time, I'll probably, I don't know.
You want to go in for an underdog, right?
Yeah, you got. I mean, I don't want to just support the creed. Soul Dynasty though have the best skins, so
sure
there is that. I will be getting my Zarya Soul Dynasty skin with my first Overwatch League coins.
Superb, yeah. If you want to let us know who you'll be supporting, just drop those into the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But until next time, good luck and have fun.